Kender horticultural talents account for their only two exports, Dew Drink and Kenderpak. The former is a golden alcoholic beverage distilled from sundews, which inns and taverns sell for 5 steel per bottle. The latter is a highly concentrated and nutritious sweetbread, which merchants sell for an average cost of 4 times the costs of a week's normal rations. One loaf, which retains its freshness up to 2 months, is equal to 2 weeks' rations and weighs no more than 3 pounds. From DL15 TSR Module 9231, The Mists of KRYNN, PG 116 The Kender. Anti-Kender AD, and D2 E-Game Mechanics. Kenderpak, and the Giggling Kender. Kenderpak is the DragonLance equivalent of Tolkien's Lember's bread. However, for some DMs, it has the potential to be an interesting item, with which to base an amusing slightly anti-Kender game mechanic around. For DMs who prefer to use Kender as NPCs only or as antagonists in whatever situation they find themselves in, Kenderpak and the Make a Kender Laugh mechanic are recommended for the sheer enjoyment of the DM. If you despise Kender, this will work in your favor. The consistency of Kenderpak implies that it is a multi-grain substance that could possibly expand like oatmeal or yeast when subjected to water and change in temperature. For a Kender, due to their small size, biologically Kenderpak would be perfect as a survival food. Consumption of Kenderpak would expand in the Kender's stomach, hence keeping them nourished. This expansion to the Kender lore, pardon the pun, or BUN, would work either to the player's benefit or detriment at the whims of the DM. For humans, if they don't acquire a small piece and prepare it first, while it can potentially keep them nourished, it could also have an adverse effect, making them severely constipated and gaseous. Save versus con. In 1d12 hours after consuming raw Kenderpak, the victim suffers debilitating gastric hilarity that can cause 1d4 damage each round. The character doesn't find an appropriate place to squat. DM rolls 1d4 and says to the player, "You find relief." However, the earth-shattering heaves of your bowels remind you that Kenderpak, while handy in keeping one alive, can also induce gastric agony as your PC holds onto their stomach and rides out the intense bout of flatulence Kenderpak incurs. The character cannot make a stealth use for 1d4 days and suffers a -1 to charisma or stealth following due to persistent latent flatulence. Even an Ancelonian cleric's only remedy is a dose of cod liver fish oil to use as a laxative while one waits for it to run its course. Kenderpak is sold in a dense packed multigrain brick or a lighter baked loaf. There is raw Kenderpak, which is highly nutritious and in its purest form provides a +1 buff to any Kenders consuming it for 1d6 rounds. A piece eaten by a human, once again a save versus con. If the DM prefers, can have them roll a save versus poison. Kenderpak is one of the few substances even dwarfs have trouble digesting if not prepared and consumed properly. Kenderpak does not spoil even under the worst conditions. Despite being full of grain and yeast, it will hold its consistency until it's baked into a loaf. Naturally, any Kender in a dungeon would find this handy, except when unwary humans eat too much Kenderpak. It can indeed make them painfully constipated. The substance, when introduced to water, expands due to an active ingredient in the dough and grain. Unleavened Kenderpak is dense caked and very powdery. Once warm water is added to the substance and left to rise, it can be baked in an oven again for a more palatable human consumption. Kenderpak has enough active yeast within its consistency to even use as mash base for alcohol from the grains. This is why it's valuable outside of Kender settlements if used responsibly. This gives Kenderpak a check and balance concerning its use among DMs. A clever PC could use Kenderpak to trick bandits into eating too much, and it incapacitates them. A foolhardy PC cutting off a piece to chew on in a dungeon with little rations, or after being handed a piece by a well-meaning Kender. "Hey, look what I brought back from Northern Urgeth, guys. There's enough for everyone. The kender broke off a piece of dense cinnamon-smelling grain, and packed into a hard powdery cake. Tars bit off a small bit and chewed it emphatically. It tastes good just like this when I carry it around, but hey, did you know you can add water to it and it expands, and it also makes some of the best meatloaf. Yeah, be careful and don't eat too much if you're a human or a dwarf. Well, you can eat a little bit. To me, I think Kenderpak loses its consistency and taste and flavor when you turn it into whey bread, but it's really the only way humans can eat it. Kaamorn Majir once made the mistake of eating a piece of Kenderpak raw, and it smells so good I don't blame him, but boy did he regret eating too much. His butt sounded like 27 ducks while he waited for it to clear his innards. Raceline and Tika both know you have to add water to it, and then wait for it to rise in a pan, and bake it before a human can eat it. It gives me the farts though. Giggle, it has lots of fiber. Making kender laugh. Kender are well known for making other people laugh simply by being kender. It's another thing entirely to make a kender laugh, and do it among other kender to witness it. DM note: this is harder than it seems. Imagine being an unknown comic on stage in front of a room of A-list comics, and being told to make them genuinely laugh with you, not at you. Kender find things amusing that a human would find wildly inappropriate, not necessarily to mock the person, but as such they may not understand why a human on fire screaming at the top of their lungs is screaming instead of rolling on the ground like a smart person to put the fire out. A curious phenomenon among kender. If you can get one kender to laugh, it can affect an entire group of kender around them, just like the taunt mechanic being detrimental to humans. Making a kender laugh can have adverse consequences to a group of kender, or even a single kender who doesn't have a companion around to snap them out of it. Any character that can do a successful ability check, based on charisma, or int, and can make a kender laugh runs the risk of that character being unable to do anything for the 2d4 rounds, because like Beavis and Butthead they can't stop giggling. For every 1d4 kender in the party, you have a 25% chance of incapacitating them all. This makes the kenders unable to do anything but laugh and giggle uncontrollably to the point of agony. Afterwards all kender suffer a 1 to con anesthesia from their stomach muscles hurting from laughing too hard. The kenders watched as the foolish dragon High Lord slipped out of his saddle and screamed on the way down as he fell into the ravine. The party of 6 kender thought it was so hilarious they doubled over from laughter. They didn't notice the vengeful dragon swooping back around, and one kender looked up with tears in his eyes from laughing so hard. Long enough to utter ha. Ha. Here comes the dragon. Oh, he's mad. Hey. Guys, that dragon is coming back, ha. 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 Oh boy, whoops. The dragon vaporized them with its breath.
Alright guys, what do you think? Ain't too bad. Guys, thank you all for tuning in. Like I said, I'm just testing this out. I don't think I'm going to port this one over to YouTube, other than to test the quality and all that. Get on Twitch, check it all and all that. But I'll start using it, like I said, if I need it. I'm going to probably do most of my painting stuff. I'll go live on YouTube and set the camera up that way. When I go to paint miniatures, that's a hell of a lot easier to interact than this right here. This, though, I can use for indie projects, little odds and ends and stuff. I don't know. It's still a little wonky trying to get people to tune in live, so especially on Twitch. But like I said, I finally got the Streamlabs to work, so I'm happy. All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in, and I definitely want to thank you immensely. I'm not real sure how this works, and I ain't figured out how to set it yet. I don't know. as you can see, guys, there you go. There's my ending screen. Thank you all for tuning in. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay? I ought to see if I can add. I wonder. Add a source. Add the webcam. You captures where you might go. Okay. I can always remove it if I don't want it there. Okay. Well, I added it, but I got to figure out where to put it. Oops! It's up in the middle of the damn screen. Okay, we got to move that out of the way. Alright, there we go. There we go. Then we're going to reduce that down. Ever so slightly. There we go. Fits in the margins right there. Okay. See, now that looks presentable, don't it? That looks good, don't it? That looks damn good. I'm learning it. I'm learning it, guys. Oh, yeah. I'm doing good. I'm doing damn good. I'm doing damn good. Yeah, I guess I could use I could just put the camera right on that one, too, if I wanted to. The intermission is just when I'm talking to somebody. And then... Sweet. All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All righty, guys. All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. It's been absolutely wonderful. Okay? I think I'm doing pretty good. I'm starting to get a hang of this shit, so it's not too bad. Like I said, guys, I'm not the smartest tool in the shed when it comes to computer shit, so it's taking me a while. Alright, guys, it's Engine Joe. Y'all be good and tune in the next stream on either YouTube or Twitch, one of the two. And I'll start trying to paint some of these minis. Okay? Alright, I'll do something. I'll figure something out. Alright, guys. Be good. Roll on.